Good afternoon and welcome to Wilmac's continuing webinar series. Today, we are pleased to highlight and discuss how Nice Inform Evaluator can benefit all levels of your organization. We will demonstrate the flexibility and convenience of the application and how leveraging its evaluation capabilities can help you identify knowledge gaps and improve performance in your organization. My name is Salvatore Damaro, and I will be moderating today's session. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. All attendees have been placed into muted mode. With that, attendees are encouraged to submit questions electronically throughout the webinar. We would be happy to address those questions during our Q&A period, which will occur at the conclusion of our main presentation. Today's presenter is Joe Grube, a Public Safety Solution Manager here at Wilmac. Joe has over 25 years of experience in law enforcement, fire service, and public safety communications, including a considerable amount of time as a 911 Center Director before joining Wilmac. Joe has extensive expertise in communication center technology and how it can be leveraged by agency partners to advance their mission, and we are privileged to have him with us today. With that, I am pleased to introduce Joe Grube.
Thank you, Sal, for the warm introduction. My name is Joe Grube, and I am a Solution Manager at Wilmac. I'm excited to be presenting our webinar on monitoring and evaluating performance in the Communications Center by leveraging the power of Nice Inform Evaluator. As Sal mentioned, my background and experiences have contributed to my current subject matter expertise. I have had the opportunity to see firsthand how advanced solutions can bring order to some of the chaos that goes with managing public safety communications. Today, we will provide an overview of how Nice Inform Evaluator can be used as an outstanding performance enhancement tool, allowing users to identify knowledge gaps, recognize training opportunities, and process inefficiencies for continual improvement. Let's do a quick review of today's agenda. Our goal with today's webinar is to illustrate how Nice Inform Evaluator can be leveraged to help you assure quality at your organization. Evaluator allows PSAP managers to evaluate the performance of call takers based on a set of predefined key performance indicators, providing clarity to everyone involved in the day-to-day activities of your environment. The presentation should last around 40 minutes, and we will close out with questions that you can submit via GoToWebinar, as Sal mentioned earlier. I'd like to share a little more information about Wilmac and how I became a solution manager here. Wilmac has been in business for over 55 years. I have been with Wilmac since 2011 and chose to work at Wilmac partly because I was a customer of the company. I retired from law enforcement where I was responsible for the operation and management of a county 911 center and public safety communications and information technology systems. I am a graduate of the 199th session of the FBI National Academy and remain active in a variety of professional organizations such as APCO and NENA, including maintaining the NENA Emergency Number Professional certification. During my time as a 911 Center Director, I came to rely on Wilmac as a trusted partner for recording and post-incident information management applications. That type of partnership is what Wilmac seeks to create with every customer. We are leading experts in the call recording and quality management industry with customers in contact centers, financial trading, and public safety and security organizations. Wilmac partners with the best-of-breed manufacturers to provide solutions in all of these industries. We pride ourselves on the consultative approach we take, and then follow it up with training, service, and support that is second to none. Our services team maintains the highest level of training and certification with our partner manufacturers, to the extent that they are oftentimes asked to do work for the manufacturer or help with technical issues. As we continually strive for excellence, we have developed practice groups in each of the primary voice recording vertical markets with the purpose of further expanding our subject matter expertise in each field. I head up the public safety practice group, providing my expertise, insights, and product knowledge to our entire public safety team. This approach helps us maintain our leading presence in the public safety market. Some of Wilmac's notable public safety customers include the New Jersey State Police, who have over 500 channels of recording across several locations. The Peel Regional Police in Greater Toronto Area, who have over 600 channels of recording. DuPont has numerous facilities within their corporation with public safety recording platforms provided by Wilmac. Conrail has resilient recording systems at 2 locations recording over 400 channels. And numerous State University of New York University Police Departments across New York State have Wilmac provided recording solutions. In addition to our strong presence in the Northeast United States and Southern Ontario, NICE Systems has notable customers such as the NYPD, the FAA, and LAPD, and they maintain a market share in excess of 75% of major public safety and security sites in North America and across the globe. NICE Inform is a public safety application that interfaces with NICE Systems' various recording, video recording, and security information management systems. Inform's focus is on post-incident investigations and review and consists of 4 modules: Organizer, Evaluator, Monitor, and Reporting, which give you a 360-degree view of an incident and how it was handled. NICE Inform unifies systems within the NICE security portfolio, including traditional audio recording, next generation 911, including text to 911, video recording, quality assurance, and physical security information management or security management software systems. In our February webinar entitled Streamline Video Content with NICE Inform Organizer, we presented how the Organizer application can be leveraged to better manage multimedia content in your environment and help you make sense of the chaos of digital evidence. During today's webinar, we'll be focusing on Inform Evaluator and how it can play a key role in post-incident review processing. By evaluating both individual calls and entire incidents, your agency can ensure adherence to protocol and identify any training or policy gaps. While today we discuss Inform Evaluator, Inform Monitor and Reporting are additional modules that we also offer to allow supervisors the ability to monitor calls in real time and provide operational insights to managers. Keep an eye out for future webinars on these other applications. NICE Inform Evaluator was developed from the ground up specifically for the public safety market as a post-incident investigation and evaluation tool. NICE realizes the difference between the needs of large contact centers and public safety organizations and built a solution custom to public safety needs instead of simply repurposing their existing contact center QA solution. NICE Inform Evaluator was designed with the industry transition to next generation 911 in mind, along with a focus on allowing agencies to meet the quality assurance and training standards set forth by CALIA, APCO Project 3-3, and NENA. Evaluator is integrated throughout the NICE Inform solution and enables PSAPs to evaluate not only a single call, but an entire incident, including multiple audio records, multimedia such as imported video, and other NICE Inform sources such as text to 911, screen recording, GIS, and more. Any multimedia content that Inform manages can be included in an evaluation. Evaluator allows you to monitor the performance of dispatchers to identify knowledge gaps and training opportunities. The application is highly customizable. Managers and supervisors can evaluate and score a dispatcher's performance with situation-specific customized forms. They have the ability to evaluate an entire shift or individual and identify agency-wide training gaps or individual training opportunities. You can also evaluate an entire incident or large-scale event, even those with multiple dispatchers and officers involved, such as a fire, police chase, or other significant event. Self-evaluation is also available, which is especially valuable for smaller PSAPs where dispatchers self-evaluate and supervisors can spot-check the evaluation scoring. Screen recording is also available with Inform Evaluator. It can be set up so that recording is either continuous or is triggered by telephone activity. Access to screen activity allows you to identify and address gaps or inefficiencies in workflow. For example, you may discover that your current CAD screen layout is inefficient, or that a dispatcher's workflow through applications can be organized more efficiently. The Evaluator application is conveniently navigated using two views. The first view is a split main evaluation screen, which includes a reconstructed timeline of multimedia content on one side and the evaluation form and scoring on the other. The second view is an administrative screen. You'll see in the demonstration how the recorded event unfolds on your screen as you simultaneously perform an evaluation, and how those evaluations are scheduled and managed. Nice Inform Evaluator includes simple-to-navigate administrative modules within the application. The Template Designer wizard allows you to create custom evaluation forms to ensure that policies and procedures are being adhered to during the handling of an event. Managers can build evaluation forms using pre-established templates and various question options, including Boolean, numeric, custom, and the option to use automatic fail questions. The associated scoring is highly customizable and can be manipulated so that certain questions have more weight. Scheduler allows you to specify the number of calls per day or per month to be reviewed for each employee, and allows you to set preferred call durations to be evaluated and to set specific evaluation forms for each schedule. Reporter allows you to run reports on individuals, teams, incidents, PSAP activities, resources, and operations. This enables management to make improvements in performance, staffing, and resource allocation. In summary, Evaluator involves all users in the organization. Supervisors and training managers can evaluate, identify knowledge gaps, and provide appropriate training. Dispatchers are able to see how they're doing. Directors have access to reports on the team's performance and actionable insights to drive process improvements. Let's switch over to the Nice Inform Evaluator demonstration system to see how this comes together. Today we'll tell the story of a PSAP manager who's been tasked to start conducting evaluations on his employees. PSAP managers typically follow guidelines established from NINA, CALIA, or the APCO Project 33 guidelines to help them establish their programs. In some instances, the PSAP's evaluation program may already be in place, either via a paper form or by a program provided by an EMD provider or other such entity. Today we'll talk about leveraging Nice Inform Evaluator to make those paper forms or other systems be integrated directly with audio recordings, video recordings, and other content so that the evaluator can see the call unfold as it takes place, pause, rewind, fast forward, and replay audio as they listen to a call, and have all of the data that they find necessary right in front of them as they conduct the evaluations. On the screen, you'll see the two-part screen we mentioned previously. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see the multi-channel playback feature set of Nice Inform that Nice Inform users are already used to seeing. On the left-hand side, you'll see the insight grid with information about the call or the event, as well as any imported video, text to 911 streams, and integrations or annotations that are attached to the audio recordings themselves. On the right-hand side, you'll see the evaluation questions and sections, along with the score. For this particular evaluation, it has already been completed, and you'll see that the score was 85%. Now that we've had this quick overview, let's move to the Template Designer so that we can walk through the process of creating an evaluation form. The Template Designer has a simple and easy-to-use interface. On the left-hand side, you'll see two sections, Evaluation Forms and question types. When you expand the evaluation forms and question types, you'll see the various choices that you have available to you. In our demonstration system, you'll see forms in various states. The ones with the small pencil icons are forms that are currently being developed or edited. The other forms are ones that have already been completed or have evaluations conducted against them. At the bottom, you'll see question types. Many question types are already included in the system. Boolean searches such as true, false, and yes, no. Custom questions, drop-down box for call types, range questions from 0 to 5 or 0 to 10, and a variety of custom-made questions that we've made here. Let's walk through the process of creating an evaluation form. The creation of evaluation forms is wizard-based. This makes this extremely simple to use. Let's give the form a name and a description. Walk through the next step and finish. This has allowed us to start the form process. You can edit this at any time. You'll see that the state is set as draft, and once it's completed, we'll set the form to active to allow the form to be utilized. Let's add some questions. For our demonstration today, we'll just add a couple of questions to show you how it works, and then we'll move to an already completed form. Let's first start with a new section, and we'll call it greeting, since we know that all 911 calls start off with a greeting. And then we'll add our first question to the greeting section. And the addition of questions to the form is also wizard-based. Once you start the question, you can change the section that it's in if you have multiple sections already created. Let's create our question text. In the description field, you could actually include a cut and paste of your policy or the description of the way the call is actually supposed to be answered for a question such as this. Let's leave this question type as a yes, no, and then we can establish the number of points. For the purposes of our demonstration today, let's make this 10. Once you take the next step, you can see the two responses and the value of the points that are associated with each one of the response. You can have some conditional actions that are associated with questions, where if the response is of a particular type, the conditional action causes the evaluation to skip a section or skip a form. This comes in handy if you have automatic fail questions that cause an automatic failure of the evaluation and the ability to move on to the next evaluation. Once we're finished and we can go back and forth as needed to edit this, you'll see that the question gets added to the form. The creation of additional questions and sections continues on in this manner until you have the form completed. Let's save this. Here I've opened a form that we've already created in Nice Inform Evaluator's template designer. At the top of the screen, you'll see our first section with 4 questions and then subsequent sections and questions. It's extremely easy to move these sections around. For example, I have the first question highlighted, and if I want to move this down, all I need to do is click this button and move it down either one place or move it all the way to the bottom. Within the question, you can even change the section that the question is located. When the question is in the form, I can edit the question. I can add additional options, adjust the points, adjust the descriptions, make any other changes that I need to make in the question after I've established it. Once I have the format done and completed, I can activate it for use. When a form is activated, you can then begin using it for evaluations from the scheduler. Once a form is used for an evaluation, it is locked, and it cannot be edited any longer, and it cannot be deleted. This ensures your data stays safe. There is an easy-to-use copy function for existing forms. For example, if I want to replicate, for the most part, an existing form, like this one at the top entitled EMD QA QI Review, I can simply copy it, make the changes that I find necessary to adjust the form's uses, give it a new name, and begin using it elsewhere. Let's switch to the scheduler to see how this starts to tie together with the forms that we've created. The scheduler allows you to set the number of calls and the time period for evaluations to be completed and attach them to the appropriate supervisor and call taker or dispatcher for review. Let's walk through the steps. Schedule creation is wizard-based. You can choose from daily or monthly schedules, and the description is included of each. Let's choose a monthly schedule. We'll give this schedule a name. Choose the number of evaluations we want to generate each month. Let's choose 10. The preferred call duration. This is from a drop-down box. We can choose short calls. Maybe your focus is on calls that are extremely short. You want to make sure that your processes were adhered to. Medium calls might be ones that you find are in your sweet spot, where you understand that they're typical 911 calls where a full breadth of data is collected and a call is dispatched. Maybe you want to start a specific program to examine long calls and determine why they were so long, and again, ensure process adherence. Or lastly, maybe you just want to have all calls included in your review. Let's choose medium. You can also create the schedule from the first of the month or monthly from the day you establish the schedule. For our purposes today, let's choose monthly from today. We then attach our schedule to the appropriate form. Next, we assign the appropriate supervisors who will conduct the evaluations against the call takers and dispatchers. Lastly, we'll choose the users or group of users that we want to have evaluated. This is extremely valuable in that you can choose an entire shift or group of people to have a particular form used or schedule committed to. A great example of this would be having fewer calls evaluated on a particular shift because it's quieter, or creating groups of users based on shift in order to compare people within a shift. Today we'll add all. It will let me confirm the settings that I have on my schedule. And when I add this, the schedule will be complete, and at the end of the day today, the system will go back in time and find 10 calls for each one of these dispatchers. We've had a schedule running on our system for quite some time, and we conduct evaluations in order to create demonstration data. We have 2 evaluations here for us to review. Let's walk through the evaluation process to see how the system works. I chose the first call on my list, and as we saw earlier, we have a split screen view with the information and insight panel on the left-hand side, the telephone audio call that this evaluation is related to within the Nice Inform window, and the evaluation questions on the right-hand side. As I read and answer the questions, you'll see the score at the top of the screen increment as we complete. Let's walk through these questions, and for our purposes today, I'll just randomly choose the answers to these. Obviously, when you're conducting a regular evaluation, you would listen to the call very carefully and answer each one of these questions as it related to the call. You'll see the score continue to increment up as we answer the questions. And when we complete, we see that we have a score of 97%. We can save this. We can also add notes. So for example, if I want to make an annotation about one of the particular questions, I can do such. And this gets added to the permanent record. You can add as many of the annotations as you'd like. When I'm satisfied that I've completed this in the appropriate way, I can move this evaluation to review. What moving an evaluation to review does is essentially send it to the dispatcher that you evaluated so that they can review the call, how you answered the questions, and any annotations that you created. I'll choose that now, and then I'll switch screens to see what the dispatcher would see when they're logged into the system. I've switched to the view that our dispatcher, Susie dispatcher, would see when she logs into the system. You'll see up in the upper left-hand corner that the only portion of Nice Inform that Susie has access to is the Evaluator module. There are a list of calls that are awaiting review. She can search through the calls that are associated with her. If I change the search criteria to all, she will see all of the evaluations that have been completed for her over time. If I switch back to the awaiting review, we'll go back to the 2 that are waiting. When the dispatcher opens the evaluation in this view, the evaluation questions are visible, the answers are visible, but they are locked. They're not capable of being edited. The dispatcher can replay the audio on their own call. They can add notes. You'll see the note that I added earlier, and they can add a note themselves. When they're done reviewing the call, they can choose Complete Evaluation. As you can see, over time, the number of evaluations grows to a pretty large number. The most important part of collecting all this data is using it to enhance the operations of your agency by leveraging the data collected to make adjustments to both training and policy. Let's move to the reporting module so that we can see how that works. The reporting module has a dashboard that can be customized with anywhere from 1 to 6 different reports in various formats. The reports are created based on templates that NICE Systems has designed for you to start with. I have 4 relating to quality management on my dashboard right now. You'll see the upper left-hand report has score data based on question. This report is very valuable to allow you to see that you have a particular question that many dispatchers are scoring a bit lower on. You can use that information to adjust policy, procedure, or training. As a PSAP manager, you can also have a list of the status of the various evaluations. How many are incomplete? How many were completed without agreement? How many are awaiting review? And manage your supervisors to make sure that the evaluations are being completed in a timely fashion. Some of the most important reports involve trends. Both reports on the right side of my dashboard include scoring trends over time. And you'll see how, since our PSAP manager has established his evaluations program, the average score for his EMD QA/QI review form has increased from an 87 in the beginning to a 98% adherence in the end. And that's the goal of any evaluation program, to document the advances of your employees as they become more proficient at their jobs. You can see the results of the changes that you've made to your training programs and to your policies. Let's look at some of the available reports. As I mentioned, reports are based on templates. Here we have a listing of templates that are both related to call volume data, calls over particular days of week, calls on a particular resource, as well as reports that are targeted to the evaluations process. Let's look at a scoring trend. The scoring trend per month we can edit. We can edit a description to match what we need. You can make the report public, which allows more people to see the report than just you. Otherwise, the reports are locked to just your username and password. You can select the data. So even though this is scoring trend per month on the template, we can make the time frame be any time frame we want. You can also choose the people that are included in the report and which forms are recognized in the report. So as you use the template to create custom reports and save them, you can gain insights from particular groups of users, shifts, forms. You can target a particular call type to improve upon with the forms and the number of people that you're using. One of the things that I see very commonly is that dispatchers that are still in their probationary period may have a higher frequency of reviews done against them when compared to someone who's a seasoned dispatcher. In the designer frame, we can edit the title of the report and the labels on the axes. I'll close this because this report already exists. Let's open this report that was one of the ones on our dashboard. You'll see this report as it stands alone and some of the options that we can create and use against this report. We can run the report repeatedly. So if there's actively evaluations being conducted while you're working in the reporting module, you can run the report again and gather the refreshed data. You can send the report by email, which attaches a PDF version of this particular report to an email and allows you to send it. You can print the report. You can also save the report, both as a PDF and as CSV or Excel files. This will allow you to manipulate the data that was collected by the system in a way that you see fit to create advanced reports, graphs, trending analyses, or to save for later purposes. As you can see from the scoring improvements in the trending report, our PSAP manager was able to leverage the power of NICE Inform Evaluator to develop and implement a successful quality assurance program. The collaborative efforts of managers, supervisors, trainers, and dispatchers within Evaluator led to increased adherence to protocol and enhanced customer service. Now that we've completed an overview of the four major components of NICE Inform Evaluator, let's go back to Sal for any questions that may have come in.
Thank you very much, Joe. We appreciate it. At this time, we would like to remind all the attendees that if you have any questions that you would like to submit to us, please find my name over in the staff tab. You'll see Salvatore tomorrow and continue to submit your questions that way. Joe, we do have a couple that came in as you were talking. Question number one here. You mentioned screen recording. How does screen recording display while working on an evaluation?
Thanks, Alan. That's a great question. Screen recording is displayed in Inform much like a video source from a video camera or an imported video source in the left-hand side of Inform in the Insight window and Insight grid. Because it's in a part of the Insight grid, it can be detached from the main Inform window and put on its own window, and move to a second screen enlarged so that you can see the content on the screen easier, and also play it back in coordination and in synchronization with the recorded audio while you do your evaluation.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Question number 2 coming from the audience. What portions of Inform have Evaluator available?
Another great question. Evaluator stands on its own, as we saw today, with a scheduling component where calls are gathered from the system on a scheduled basis and put in the evaluations module. But Evaluator also is integrated with Inform Reconstruction and Inform Organizer, where individual calls or groups of calls can be exported to the evaluations module, assigned an evaluations form, and then subsequently be evaluated on an incident-by-incident basis.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Looks like finally we have, you mentioned during the presentation that video and other content could be evaluated along with recorded audio. Is that feature part of Evaluator?
So Nice Inform Organizer is an optional module to Nice Inform, and when you have Organizer as one of the modules, Evaluator is integrated with it. So as long as you have Organizer on your system, you can evaluate from there. Again, it is an optional module. Most people who have Inform and have Evaluator certainly already have or would acquire Organizer along with it.
Agreed. Okay, we'll just leave a couple more seconds here. If any of the attendees want to submit some last second questions here, we'd be happy to answer them for you. Oh, we just had one pop in here, Joe. Let's see. Without a telephone/radio system that requires a log-on, how does Evaluator select QA calls for a dispatcher?
Another great question. There is actually a log-on component that's available to go with Nice Inform, where the system has the ability to gather the Windows logon information from the PC at the particular workstation and connect it to the appropriate recorded audio source within Inform and subsequently within Evaluator. So as a dispatcher sits at a particular position and they log into their Windows PC, their username and password would be sent to the system and be temporarily, while they're sitting there, attached to the phone that's assigned to that position.
Gotcha. Okay, hopefully that answered the question there. Once again, you're welcome. Thank you for the answer. Came in. Anybody else have any questions? We'd be happy to entertain them, as we say. Leave a couple more seconds here. All right, we will officially close the Q&A portion. Joe, I'll go ahead and turn things back to you.
Great. Thank you, Sal. We hope that you found the information presented today valuable and look forward to presenting future webinars on timely and relevant public safety topics. I'd like to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend our webinar on Nice Inform Evaluator. If you have any additional questions or would like more information, please contact me via email or LinkedIn at the address on the screen. Have a great day.